Okay, let's move on. We have Ravens Colts, and I've got to speed this up. I enjoy this immensely, Bebsy. I get to sit here, have a drink, break down every game on the NFL card with you in the chat, and maybe I take too much advantage of it. And the guy mentioned that. He mentioned that on Sunday, that I was just abusing this opportunity, and then I go 5-0, abusing that opportunity, and pick up a K ball sack in your mouth. Let's go Ravens, Colts. Ravens 5-2, Colts 5-2. Positive COVID tests for the Ravens. And is this rumor or hearsay? What's going on? Do you know any more of this, Bebsy?
Well, I do know. I saw Marlon Humphrey posted that he had tested positive for COVID earlier today. But that's the only one that I knew of for sure. But it sounds like it could be a bunch of them.
Okay.
This game, I'm not seeing it posted anywhere.
No, it's taken off the board. God, it's hard. This is tricky. But let's not let COVID bring us down. Let's still cap it as much as possible. Not only did the Ravens lose to the Steelers 28-24, but they lose all-pro left offensive tackle Ronnie Stanley. That was sad, man. He signs a big extension. They also lost guard Tyree Phillips with an ankle injury. He did not return. So Brown moves to left tackle. Fluker steps in at right tackle. Fluker looked great. And that's how the Ravens will likely, unless injury messes with it, likely line up for the rest of the season. Ravens were up 17-7 at the half. Lamar Jackson, 13-28 for 28 yards, 2 TDs, 2 interceptions, ran 16 times for 65 yards, 2 fumbles, 2 interceptions. Very disappointing. 4 turnovers were too much to overcome. I doubled up on the Ravens, and I was very confident. I cashed the first half, lost the full game. Ravens ran for 265 yards. J.K. Dobbins 15 times for 113 yards. Gus Edwards 16 times for 87 yards. Willie Snead caught 5 passes for 106 yards. Mark Ingram inactive, listed as questionable for this week. Colts coming off 41-21 trouncing of the Lions. Darius Leonard was back and was spectacular. 9 tackles, 1 strip sack, all over the field. It's not even what he necessarily does on the field, but it's what he does on the sidelines, pumping up the whole defense. Special player. Colts are lucky to have him. Colts allowed 5 yards rushing in the first half. 29 total on 13 carries. 2.2 yards per carry. After throwing 4 touchdowns and 5 interceptions in the first 5 games of the Colts, Rivers has looked much better of late. 6 touchdowns, 1 pick in the last 2 games, 23-33 for 262 yards, 3 TDs and 1 interception. Nyheim Hines was awesome. Running back, Nyheim Hines was their leading receiver. 3 catches for 54 yards, couple touchdowns, couple flips in the end zone. T.Y. Hilton left with a groin injury. I don't know if it's a groin injury or he's just sad. 2 catches for 9 yards. He's been awful this year. Wilkins takes over from Jonathan Taylor as the leading rusher. 20 rushes for 89 yards. Let's say this is Ravens minus 3.5. Let's use that as our guess. Take it away, Bebsy.
Well, now I'm reading. There's 7 players in close proximity to Marlon Humphrey being tested. I don't think this game's going to get played. If it does, as much as I really like Indy, the way they played last week, how good they are with Darius Leonard, this Ravens offense put up 280 rushing yards against a very good Pittsburgh defense. Yes, they've lost some players, but it was really just turnovers that cost them. They outplayed them and then lost this game. I just think as good – look, I'm high on Indy this year. I'm high on everything about Indy except for Phillip Rivers. But this is – if it were to open up like that, I would probably be all over the Ravens. The problem is who's playing?
Exactly.
Who's playing? Like if there's 8 guys, if you're counting Marlon Humphrey because he's for sure out, but 7 other guys, this game's probably not going to get played.
If it does, this is another situation that we have littered throughout the card where we have a team like the Colts who are coming off a 20-point trouncing and we could take advantage of it. This is Ravens if there's no COVID.
Yeah, absolutely. But if there's 7 guys out, then, definitely not going to happen. But I think a lot of people are going to get high on Indy beating the Lions and, going to pretend like the Ravens didn't outplay the Steelers. They did. And you know how bullish I've been on the Steelers all year. But look, the Ravens, man, J.K. Dobbins looked like a stud. And J.K. Dobbins, man, I loved him coming out of Ohio State. I wanted him to go higher than he did. I think he's phenomenal, and he proved it. He looked fantastic, yes, on Sunday. So, yeah, if this is around 2.5, 3, and you can jump on that, and there isn't 1,000 Ravens out with COVID, then you jump on the Ravens here.
Yeah, Dennis Garcia leaning towards the under. Let's say there's only a couple guys out for the Ravens with this COVID issue, and I don't have the under anywhere. Let me see if I can find anything for the under. No, it's completely off the board right now.
Well, as great a player as Marlon Humphrey is, and he is phenomenal, I don't know how much that plays into it because it's not as though Phillip Rivers has the arm to exploit corners. However, Marlon Humphrey is fantastic in the run game as well.
Too many moving parts at this point, but this is if there weren't all these moving parts, we'd be able to take advantage of that 20-point victory.
Dennis Garcia is saying this is bettable on 365 right now.
Oh, shit. Let me just move over there. It is. Ravens minus 2.5 is bettable. Maybe they're too caught up in the election. The total is at 45.5. Good call. Good call. Thank you. Thank you. What do you think of that total at 45.5? Because in my head, when I was going to give you a number, I was going to be much higher than that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that seems very low.
Yeah. That seems very low because we know if Rivers gets behind, he's going to noodle arm it out. Wow. Now, but in all honesty, can you take the Ravens at minus 2.5 with the COVID issues and you can't? Right?
Well, here's the thing. If there's enough guys out, then they'll just cancel the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I don't want to hope for that. Okay, I'm gonna wait, but the Ravens and the over I find very interesting. Okay, let's move on to Panthers Chiefs. 69 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy. We have wind in Kansas City, 19 miles per hour. Chiefs open up at minus 12.5. They're now minus 10.5. This total opened up at 51. There's 52.5s and 53s on the board. The 3-5 Panthers at the 7-1 Chiefs. Panthers are on extra rest following their 25-17 loss at home to the Falcons on Thursday night. They've now lost 3 straight. Bridgewater 15-23 for 176 yards, 1 TD, 1 pick. DJ Moore caught 2 passes for 55 yards. Robbie Anderson 5 passes for 48 yards. Samuel looked, got 2 touchdowns, 1 receiving, 1 rushing, which was impressive, but it didn't light up the statistics other than that. Mike Davis, 13 carries for 66 yards. Panthers were just 2 for 10 on third downs. Cornerback Dante Jackson, toe injury. He had to leave the game. That secondary for the Panthers is beat up. Troy Pride, rookie Troy Pride and Corn Elder at the cornerback spots. Matt Rule says Dante's feeling better. He's expected to be back in the lineup this Sunday. Christian McCaffrey expected to return. Defensive tackle Zach Kerr and offensive tackle Russell Okung are questionable. Chiefs coming off 35-9 win at home over the Jets as 19.5-point favorites. Mahomes is incredible. 31-42 for 416 yards and 5 TDs. Travis Kelce caught 8 passes for 109 yards and a TD. Tyreek Hill, 4 passes for 98 yards, 2 TDs. McCole Hardman, 7 passes for 96 yards. They only rushed for 50 yards on 20 carries. Le'Veon Bell, against his former team, ran 6 times for 7 yards. He did catch a few passes for about 30 yards, but Edwards-Helaire, 6 runs for 21 yards. Watkins and Schwartz still inactive. And that was a beautiful double-up spot for me that we talked about on the Sunday show. Those were both Sunday editions, the under and the team total under. Glorious.